So just finding our comfortable seat, relaxing any place we're making contact with the floor. And then let the spine grow a little bit above your head. And then relax into that posture, just letting your shoulder blades soften, your jaw soften. And then bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. With gratitude, we salute all the great yoga masters, past and present. A special prayer of thanksgiving for Baba Hari Das. With joy, we recognize the excellent wisdom teachings of yoga, Ayurveda. And with vigor, we dedicate ourselves to self-transforming practice. What do you need today for self-transformation? Just bringing that into your mind. And then letting that slip down into your heart space, and we'll bring it back at the end of class. If you can, where you are, join me for one Om. Om. And then just letting your hands slip down to your legs. So we're going to begin our practice this morning with Nadi Shodhana. Nadi means energy channel. Shodhana means cleansing. So we're cleansing the energy channels of the body. The method is alternate nasal breathing. So we're going to inhale through the left, out the right, in the right, and out the left. We're going to use our hand, our right hand. Now this time I'm not mirroring you. This is your right hand in Vishnu Mudra. Tuck in your index finger and your middle finger and prepare your arm to be able to reach your nose to close off your left nostril with the ring finger and right nostril with the thumb. So just having your arm ready to go, okay? So a nice tall spine. We use a full yogic breath. And if you're not sure what that is right now, don't worry about it. Just use a beautifully full breath, okay? We're gonna start together. The breath is it ends up in the chest. So we start with the belly, bring it into the chest, and then slow, smooth exhalation. So we'll take it nice and slowly. I'll walk us through one round and then I will be quiet. We'll continue on for another 3 to 4 minutes, okay? I'll ask you to stop the round that you're on. So take the time to do that, okay? Exhale the breath all the way out, closing off the right nostril, inhaling left, belly, and then chest. Top of the inhale, switch fingers, exhaling right. Just feeling the lungs recoil, the breath moving out. Bottom of the exhale, inhale right. Just like a horseshoe. Top of the inhale, switch fingers and exhale left. We always switch fingers at the top of the inhale. That makes one round. Inhaling left and continuing at your own pace. Taking the time to complete the round that you're on with an exhale out the left nostril. Just taking your time. And when you complete, just being still and noticing how you feel in body, breath, and mind. And then gently on an inhaled breath, letting your eyes flutter open. Our next practice, Kapalabhati, skull shining. It's a forced exhalation followed by a natural inhalation in a very rhythmic fashion. You don't have to go fast. You don't have to go powerful. It's a chest breath or a diaphragmatic breath, the diaphragm moving. You're not using your low belly. And the breath, if you had a hiatal hernia, you wouldn't want to do it. But otherwise, it can be done safely as long as you do it gently. So I'm going to show it relatively gently, enough hopefully that you can hear it, but relatively gently so that you see you don't have to do it as a powerful, powerful breath. It's to clear the head region, all of the udana vayu, the vayu that helps us function up and out, speak our mind, sing, vomit, everything up and out, breathing, exhaling. So the practice itself, I'll show you very briefly. I'm going to exhale the breath out and inhale in about 80%, and then I'll begin. So I did 25 forced exhalations, nice and slow. Nice and, well, mine wasn't too slow, but you can do it however you would like. Okay, it can be, so you can really see that every single time if you watch my chest, you can see I'm not bringing it up into my shoulders or my parasympathetic region. I mean, my sympathetic region, but I'm okay. So I like to do a rosary, which is 108 exhalations. So I often do 36, 3 rounds of 36 or 2 rounds of 54, or you can go for 108. You should never run out of breath. And if you feel like you're running out of breath, pause, focus on your inhale. Don't give it sound, but make sure that you get the inhale in every single time and do it gently, okay? Otherwise, it becomes too strong, too forceful, and you wake up the fire too quickly, okay? So all together, exhaling the breath out, bring the breath in at about 75, 80%, and begin. As you complete your rounds, just sitting and feeling the effects of the practice in the head region. Our third purification is Agni Sardoti, and this is in the belly. So also, if you had a hiatal hernia, if you had an ulcer, if you have gastritis active right now, this is not the practice for you. You would return and do Nadi Shodan, the alternate nasal breath, balancing and cleansing all of the energy channels. The practice works with the abdominal muscles, mostly the rectus abdominis and the transverse abdominis. So I'll do this from the side for a moment. As we get ready to practice, we're sitting upright. We exhale the breath out and we hold it out. We hinge at the hip a little bit. At the bottom of the exhale, we pull belly to spine and then release and pull rhythmically. So I did 15 pulls and then I sat up nice and slowly and took my breath as I came up, okay? So just remembering, doing this if it feels safe and good for you this morning, all right? Nice tall spine. And then as we hinge over at the hip, exhaling out. Once the breath is gone, pull the belly to spine, release and pull rhythmically. And whenever you need your breath, just sitting up nice and easy and taking your inhale. And then see how you feel in the body. If you'd like, we'll do one more round, but feel free to sit it out if it already feels too heating for you. Forward at the hips, belly to spine, release, pull rhythmically. And just sitting for a moment and noticing the effects in the body, in the breath, in the mind. And our fourth purification practice is Ashwini Mudra, horse seal. And this is a practice that we would not do if we had active hemorrhoids. But if you don't have active ones, it's very good to keep that muscular area smooth and supple and soft. So the practice itself, this time we take an inhaled breath, but it's not a huge inhale. And we don't hold it up in here. We hold it right here at the solar plexus, right between where your ribs and your pelvic basket are. So just right here, you're holding it. And then you contract and release the anal sphincter. Just tighten and release as if you were not going to go to the bathroom. Tight, release, rhythmically. More or less the same rhythm that you were using for your Agnisar. That pumping there, same pumping with the anal sphincter, okay? So just let's go for it. Exhaling the breath all the way out. Inhaling, not too big. Hold the breath low and squeeze and release the anal sphincter rhythmically. As soon as you feel like you need to release the breath without expelling it forcefully, just release the last contraction and the breath together. And then take a catch breath or two. And then consider another round. If you're burping or belching, don't do again, because that means you're taking the breath too far up in the body. And once you've completed, just noticing how you feel in the body, in the breath, in the mind. Good. And then just a few moments, we're going to move right into a meditation. We're going to keep it really simple. Try to keep yourself still right now, just being still with the freshly purified mind, body, spirit. and just letting your mind focus on light. Imagine the light of the sun pouring down through the head into your body and illuminating every crevice, every crook and cranny of your body. A light being floating on the floor or the seat, wherever you are. A fully light being. Oh. Releasing the light and coming back into your body fully. Just feeling the effects of the 4 purifications, the dharana, the concentration on light, and how you feel in your body, in your mind, in your breath. And now we're going to transition slowly into asana. So you're going to make your way up to standing. I'm going to make my way back to the mat, but take your time. And since we were quiet and still, we're going to start our practice with just shaking things out for a moment, just shaking out your hands, your arms, your legs, just everything, just a little shake. Good. Okay. And then just standing relatively still for a minute. Just take one foot back and as far as you can get the heel down, but with no rotation, just back, and then step forward. And the other foot back, get the heel down, no rotation, just stepping back, bounce a little bit, and forward. One more time, just step back, not too far. Just go ahead and get everything bouncing. No rotation on the back leg. Just step back into extension, okay? Good. And then forward. So we're going to warm up with the sun salute. We're going to add the twist in, so making it a little unconventional. We'll do one nice and low to work on opening our hip flexors. And then we'll do one high to just use the hip flexors, okay? So coming into your Tadasana at the top of your mat, Namaskar hands, and just take a moment and grow some tendrils down through your feet, rooting your body down. So if you're not inverting today, so if you're on your menstrual cycle, or if you have glaucoma, eye pressure problems, or you just don't want to invert, I'll give you an option. You'll do flat back and then plank while we're inverting, okay? Good, so nice inhale. Exhale, let the arms float down, flip the palms, inhale, arms up overhead. You can gaze up if you'd like. Exhale, forward fold by hinging at the hips, either taking flat back if you're inverting. If you are inverting, fold forward, hand to foot pose, Hasta Padasana. And then inhale, everybody to a squeeze as much as you can. Put your feet on the floor, and then step your left leg back into a lunge. Now, we're going to keep this one, okay? Your hands on the floor. You can be on the fingers only, as long as that's comfortable for you. Full hands, or you can block, whatever helps you stay stable. Here at this back psoas muscle, you may want to even take that leg back a little bit, a tiny bit. Good. That's where you want to feel it. And the front leg needs to be open. Good. If you have your hand on the floor, and fingers, wherever you may be, we're going to sweep our back and open our heart in our chest out to the right side. Press into the left hand on the block, and then cartwheel the arm all the way over. Good. If you have your block, and let's do plank. Good. Nice long line of energy. Press through your heels. Belly is in. Pelvic floor is lifted. Shoulders are strong. We can drop to our knees and make an extended plank. Good. And then here we have to decide how we're going to make our way to the floor. You're welcome to go down into 6 to 8 parts bowing, chaturanga, 4 parts, or you're welcome to do what I'm going to do now, which is come down onto your forearms, and come into Sphinx. If you went down another way, take a breath and inhale into Cobra. And while you're in Sphinx or Cobra, press your toes deeply into the mat, especially the little toe side. Heels are toward the ceiling. If you're in Cobra, make sure that you're dividing between all of the segments of your thoracic spine. The last thoracic. Good. Then we need to wing up for a moment. Bring the hands back. Either press into mountain if you're not inverting into plank, where we just were. You were in plank. Begin plank on your knees as well. So if this is the first mountain, we can walk the mountain for a moment, just pressing in the opposite knee, just walking the mountain, pacing the mountain. Good. And then let's forward the space between your hands. Left hand. Go smoothly on its own, great. Otherwise, just pick it up and bring it close, and then grab the ankle. And put it. Good. Again, now we're working on the right psoas muscle. Good. You want to feel some sensation in there. Extension. Excellent. And again, you can blocks here if you'd like. And then now we're going to sweep the left arm back and open out to the left side, press into the right arm, twisting. We're just adding this twist to be able to get all of our movements into the series. And then open all the way over. Good. If you have your block, take it out of the way. Come off the back knee, and then a little hop to the front. If you're inverted, go ahead and exhale, fold. And then inhale all the way up. And gaze up. And exhale, Anjali. That is one half of one sun salute. Doing the second side. Inhale, arms floating up. Exhale, our forward fold. If you're not inverted, stay here. Everybody look forward to the floor and right leg back into a lunge. Drop to the knee. Keep the left knee over the ankle and hopefully still feeling that extension in the leg. Good, just breathing. And then come off the back knee and plank. Long line of energy. No drooping, just long line of energy. Energize the plank. Electrify your plank through the heels. And then let's drop to the knees. Still having a make your way to the floor. You can go down to your forearms like you did. You can lower chest and chin to hover. And then cobra. If you're out on your front, you're in Sphinx. Little toe side especially. If you went down on your forearms, wing your arms up, hands underneath your shoulders. And then curl through that long plank and back into mountain. Mountain, just walking out the hamstrings, pressing into the legs. Good. Extend all the way forward, whichever feels best for you, and then drop to your back. And now the psoas of the left leg is our focus. Good. Excellent. Okay. And then let's step off the back knee, a little hop to the front, long stay here, fold, and sides coming up, all the way up, gaze up. And exhale, hands into Anjali. Okay, we're going to do one more set. And this time we're going to just take it a little bit taller, a little bit bigger. Okay, hands into the heart. For just a minute, so you can just relax your pelvic floor, just relax your pelvic floor and relax your shoulder blades. Just feel that. You can really release your arms. And then keeping your shoulder blades where they are firmly on the back and your so your shoulders stay stable. Good. And then lift the toes for a moment. Make sure the heels are behind the second and third toe. Good. And then as you are ready, take a nice inhale. Exhale, lower the arms. Inhale, arms floating out to the side and up, gazing up. Exhale, forward fold, either to flat back or inhale, everybody to a flat. Exhale, hands and feet. Go down and your back knee. Doing exactly what you're good. We're going to float the arms down. If you're off the back knee, just placing your hand on a block or on the floor, and then opening out to the right side in our twist. Press into the hand on the floor or block. And cartwheel the arm all the way over. Block out of the way. You're going to step to plank. Good. Again, long line of energy. Belly is lifted. You can always be in plank on your knees. And then all of us lowering to the floor. Forearms, 6 parts back. I just did, or 8 parts bowing. This time chest and chin are touching. And then I lay out the rest of my body and lift into cobra. I'm in little baby cobras. My hands could be off the mat. Good. Breathe. Pull in your belly. Breathe in your chest. And then let's curl the toes under. Press through our kneeling plank into mountain. Okay. Good. And walk the mountain again if that feels great for your hamstrings. If it's irritating them, be still. And then on our next inhale, looking at the space between the hands, taking the left over by the left hand. You can always walk it there. Good. And now we're going to come up on the other side. Sweep the arms forward, coming into flat. And you're welcome to take it to the floor with the leg down. But if you're up, back heel is up. And then slowly begin to float the arms down. If you're on your knee, stay there. Place your hand on the block or on the floor, and then sweeping your left arm open. Twisting to the left. Left knee right over the ankle. And pull the arm the rest of the way over. Move your block out of the way if you used one. And then a little hop. And inhale, arms to the sides. Come up. And exhale, hands into Anjali. One more half. Inhale, arms floating up. Exhale, forward fold. back. Everybody inhale. Exhale, hands and feet on the floor, right leg back into lunge. You can drop to the knee always. You can sweep your arms up or keep them low. Good. And then floating arms down either side of the mat. Now you might be off your back knee, whichever is best for you, okay? So, well, everybody come off your back knee because it does make the twist easier. Sweep your arm and open to the left. Don't let your left knee travel over your ankle. Sweep the arm all the way around and step to plank. Pull in the belly. You're welcome to go to your knees. And then everybody to their knees. And 6 or 8 parts or forearms. Cobra or Sphinx. Toes firmly on the floor. Swing out your elbows, bring your hands underneath your shoulders, your elbows back close to your ribs. Everybody, let's curl the toes under, press through the kneeling plank and in. Your last little chance to walk the mountain or be still. Ask your body, ask your mind. Maybe stillness is what you need here. One more breath. And then on your next inhale, looking at the space between your hands, right foot by the right hand. You can drop to the back knee or stay up, decide, sweeping the arms up or keeping them low. Flag. Side of the mat, got plenty of space there for your left leg to take a little hop, long, take your exhale. And inhale, arms to the side, coming up, all the way up. Exhale, hands into Anjali. Release your arms, release everything. Just let everything go for a moment. Body, wiggle, and then nice and still. And just notice the stillness in the body. Just noticing. Relax your pelvic floor. Relax your shoulders. Your sternum, your breastbone, relax it. Relax your shoulders again. Your jaw. Good. And then on our next inhale, letting our eyes flutter open. And then we're going to take our wide stance. Upavista Konasana, okay? Good. So wherever you are, just wiggle for a moment right at the hip area, just feeling that hip tension that happens there. Good. And then let's just start by externally rotating the left leg with a little bend in the knee. And then straighten the knee. Try to stay upright with the body. And then bend it back and unrotate. Okay. And now we're going to rotate the right leg, little bend in the knee. Straighten the knee. Bend the knee. And unrotate. Okay, we're going to go one more time. Lift up and externally rotate the left leg. Straighten the leg. Bend the knee. And unrotate. Good. Lift up. Rotate. Straighten the leg. Good. Bend the knee. And unrotate. And then let's heel toe. and just let the hip flexors and the rotators just rest for a moment. Put your hands on your bottom. That's the gluteus maximus, your big bottom muscle, is the one that's really doing a lot of that work. And engage it. So really feel your bottom engage. So feel the muscles and then let them go. And then re-engage and let them go. One more time. Engage the bottom muscles, all of your butt muscles, and let them go. Okay. So now when we're going to think about moving and rotation, keep your hands and just engage the bottom muscles, engage them, and then let's step apart. Okay. Keep your hands there just to see what's happening with the rotator. Okay. With our big rotators. So let's start by bending the knee of the left leg and then rotating, and just notice what happens in your bottom. Good. Straighten the leg. Notice what happens. And then bend the knee and then unrotate. And then take a little respite and relax your bottom for a minute. You'll see pelvic floor relaxes, bottom relaxes, everything relaxes. You'll see how crucial all of that is to not be relaxed when you're moving. So now lift your pelvic floor on purpose, pull in your bottom, feel it really engaged. So your hands, nice engaged muscle underneath it. Bend the right knee, externally rotate the right leg. Good, notice what happened. Good, straighten the leg. Notice what moves and what doesn't. Good, and then bend the knee, still noticing. Keep it engaged. Good, and then unrotate, and then relax the bottom and the pelvic floor for a minute. Just relax them. You can relax your arms for a sec, just because you can. And then take your arms up overhead and just hold on to your right wrist and lean over to the left side a little. Just lean as much as is comfortable. And then let's take our left arm down and just don't press, but just lay your arm along the leg, no pressing. Good. And just make some circles with your upper arm, upper hand. Good. And then come back up to neutral. And then all the way up, hold on to your left wrist, lean over to the right side. Good. And then just release the arm down along your leg. Like I have to tuck in my elbow and everything to keep it there. And then circles with the upper wrist. Good. And then coming back up, both arms up for a minute. Just make an X with your body. Palms, flip them toward me. Good. And then hinge at the hips. Take the arms and the upper body parallel to the floor as much as you can. Good. And then exhale up. Good. Release the arms. And then heel toe until you can step together comfortably. And just notice how you feel in the body, how it's feeling in your hips, how everything's moving there. Good. And then let's go one more time. Just one more time. This time we'll add our arms into our regular standing positions, but just noticing right here in the groin. Okay. We'll start on the opposite side. Right leg up, bend. Good. Straighten. Let's add the arms, lifting, and then bend again for warrior two. Good. I had to kick my back heel out a little bit to keep that nice and stable. Good. Excellent. And then let's lean, 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 but don't collapse, just stay right there. And then straighten the leg for triangle. Reach the arms away actively. This bottom line is as long as the top line. And let's come back through warrior two, upright spine. Then just release the arms, unrotate the leg, and let's go to the left side. So rotate the leg. Good. Float the arm up. Excellent. Warrior two. And then let's straighten the leg. And then reach out, 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 out. And then just like a pendulum, it's the lower arm and the upper arm is stacked up on top of the shoulder. And this bottom side is as long as the top side. Reach the arms away actively. And then let's go back to warrior two. Then release the arms, release the rotation, and then let's heel toe. We're going to come through a squat. So it's nice and slowly coming down into our squat just for a moment. And I'm going to go to the, see, I'm just here with this C curve in my body for a moment. Just hands are on the floor, legs are separate. You can always be up on the ball of the foot. Just relaxing and resting into the grounding of the body. And then peeling the chin off the chest, starting to look forward. You take your arms back behind you and then help yourself to sit down on the floor. Okay, extend the legs out in front, Dandasana. Big toe knuckles can touch, but heels no. And toes are up toward the ceiling. Dominant hand on top, resting the hands in the lap. Press through your heels, but keep them on the floor. Thumbs can touch gently, just sitting up on top of your sit bones. Good, keep the feet flexed. Great. And then let's relax our legs into some external rotation. So soft, nice, externally rotated legs. Reach in and grab your quads. Reach in and dig your thumbs and fingers into those muscles. Give them a little massage. Just dig in. Remember, there's one under the middle one. There's 4 of them. There's 3 on top and 1 hiding under the middle one. So you got to get in there and dig in and give it some love. Good. And then come up into the pelvic basket, right where that insertion happens. Well, it's not an insertion, it's a tendon that's coming down over there. So just reaching. Good. Keep that rotation for a minute, that external rotation. Great. Lean back, just lean back. You can lean to the back of your sit bones. And then now we're going to re-engage our legs. So re-engage one at a time. Press through, keep the heels on the floor. And now take your big toes to touch, just the big toes, and then walk your heels away as much as you can for internal rotation. It happens from here. Okay, so keep your feet flexed so that you're not torquing your ankles. Feet are flexed. And then just flex and coming over. So flexed and over. Good. So you're knock-kneed. Good. And then bring the feet back up. Bring them back together. And then we're going to go down to the floor. You're going to find your inversion if you're inverting today. So I'm going to recommend Viparit Karni Mudra. If you're not inverting, just find a wall, keep your bottom on the floor, and put your legs there. If you are inverting, you can still find a wall, but put your hips on a block and just rest. We'll only be here for a couple of minutes and then going right into Shavasana, our corpse pose. So taking your time, I'm not doing anything. You don't need to crane and look at the screen. Just holding the space for you to do your inversion. If you're inverting, if you're not inverting, legs up the wall. Good, and once you've made your selection, let your leg muscles soften a little. Just let the legs balance in the sockets. Good. Check your breath. About 15 more seconds. Slack your jaw. Let your jaw slack a little bit. Just rest a little bit the jaw. And then begin to make your way slowly into Shavasana, into corpse pose. So just take your time melting yourself onto the floor. Just take your time making any transition movements you might need. Just performing Babaji's most challenging pose, which is Shavasana, just to relax. Check in with your jaw and see if there's anything that you could release. Maybe in your hands and your arms, or your feet and your legs. Maybe soften the belly and the trunk of the body. Just softening. Letting go. And then very slowly beginning to transition, bringing the senses online, moving the eyes and the sockets and the tongue and the mouth, wiggling your ears and wriggling your nose, swimming your fingers, twinkling your toes. And then deciding how you're going to make your way over to one side in embryo pose. You can stretch out, you can shrink in, however you'd like to make your way curled up, safe and secure in embryo. And then once you're in embryo pose, begin to press the floor away, inspire yourself up to a comfortable seat, just being still for a few more moments, letting everything, asana, pranayam, concentration, letting all of it integrate into the body, into the mind, and into your very soul. Bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. Any merit we might have earned this morning, we lift it up to the welfare of all sentient beings. Bring your intention into your mind. Ponder it for a moment. And then symbolically let it drop from your mind down into your heart, and from your heart out into the very palms of your hands. And then let's lift it up and let that offering go off into the universe, bringing the hands slowly back into the heart. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste. Okay, I'm coming to you. You can speak. Spotlight, so I can see you all better. All right. You know, Thursday. Hi, Jen. We're going to be subbing on Thursday, and I think it just, how is everyone? How is it doing the 4 purifications? I think everybody knows that sure that everybody actually knew 4 purifications. So that was good.
Yeah, I've definitely been noticing your internet's intermittent. I thought it was your mic for a little while, but I think it's the internet.
Yeah, no, it was mine. And what happened was it popped itself from the upstairs to the downstairs for some reason. I just now put it back on upstairs. And I don't know why it does that, because I have both of them plugged into the same battery, like the battery, so that if the lights go out, it doesn't go dead. So both of those modems are plugged into the same apparatus, and I have no idea why it tosses it back and forth sometimes. So sorry about that. Was it clear during most of the practice? Because I didn't really see it. So usually it'll come across and say internet is unstable, and I didn't see that, but hopefully it wasn't too bad. So any questions about the 4 purifications? Because the other day I had a question from someone in a class that's been studying with me for quite a while, and she still had a question about Kapalabhati, because she didn't want to, she thought it had to be done super strong, right? And I just want to be sure that we all realize it can be done whatever we need it to be done for ourselves, not for, if you're kapha, it might look more strong if you have a lot of earth and water element. And if you're, thanks, Janice. Thank you. And everybody, she's going to be here on Thursday. And thanks, Jen. And for, a vata, the practice might be barely perceptible that someone is actually, doing it. So just make sure that we guide ourselves with what's appropriate for our body and our mind. Yeah.
So I have a question with Kapalabhati. Is it chest breath or is it abdominal?
It's a chest breath. And so it uses, it's, all breaths truly are diaphragmatic. really using the diaphragm. But when we're doing Kapalabhati, it's more like the diaphragm is flat, like flattening like that. It's not flattening like that. That would be if we're pulling our belly in, you know, like really pulling our belly in, it would look more like that, coming down into that area. And we're not, we're like letting it go out to the side. Let me see if I can. So here's my circumference right there. Let me get it down where you can see my belly a little bit better. Okay, so here's the circumference of my rib cage, and I'm exhaling the breath out. And I'm going to keep my belly relatively stable. You'll see a little bit of bouncing right here. So yeah, so this is moving. It's all of this that's moving gently, you know, because now I have a lot of flexibility in that area. So initially, you might not have that much flexibility in that area. So you might see more stuff up in here. But as the rib intercostal muscles get more flexible, it gets down closer to the diaphragm area, right? So it's like you don't really, like I've seen people, because they thought it was truly an upper chest breath, and it's not that either. You know, the shoulders stay stable. My shoulders never move. You might see it a little bit right here because of the lungs. You'll definitely see it right underneath my xiphoid process, right underneath the arrowhead of my sternum, you know, but you won't see me pulling my belly in. Now, Babaji taught a few of the Kapha people on land to pull their bellies, because if they hadn't, they didn't have enough power to do the breath properly. You know, you need that part to move flexibly. The thing is, I think that everybody now, after, you know, 30 years of practice, could do it without pulling their belly in a lot, you know. Then there is breath of fire, which is a different breath, right? Breath of fire does use the abdominal muscles, and that's a strong breath. And that's kind of like some sort of a blend in between Agni Sardoti and Kapalabhati. I mean, but it's a different breath, you know, and so every single time when I'm doing breath of fire, but that's a different breath. That's not, but a lot of people teach it the same way. You know, like I've been to classes in India, and I've had teachers in India teach me the forceful way. And then I went to one place in Rishikesh where it was kind of just like Babaji, that really light, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And speed happens with time. You know, you don't get faster if you try to get faster. You just get faster because it's more comfortable to your whole nervous system to do it at a more rapid pace. You know, like sometimes I forget to slow it down. Like today when I did my first one, that's my comfortable space, right? I should have gone to show that I was taking an inhale in every single time. You know, I shouldn't have gone that fast, because people are like running out of breath if they don't understand that every single has a, you know, every single time you exhale, you're inhaling. Yeah.
Thank you. I noticed that if I hold the abdomen steady, then the chest breathing happens.
Yes.
Normally.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can still keep it low. It doesn't have to be high in the chest. It can be just right there at the diaphragm. And that's really you know, the diaphragm has it has a lot of good red muscle. It does have a lot of good red muscle, but the whole top of it is just white aponeurosis, right? So we want to develop that muscle. It's down there. It's not up here. So, you know, it's really being conscious of where we're using our power to breathe.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Ashok. Anybody else? Any questions? Sylvia, it's good to not see you, but it's good to have you. And you, it's good to have you. Wendy, nice to have you. And Amy, I saw you for a minute, so now I know that you're there. And Michelle, thanks for coming. Amber, as always. And Cam, my stalwart. Yeah. And yeah, Ashok, it's all of these, you know, like when they're put together as this purification, you know, prana, udana, apana, samana. I mean, everything just gets balanced. And then vyan, that circulation, by using the other four, it also gets balanced. So it's a super great way to start your day. Babaji would say the 4 purifications is a great way to lay the table, to set the table, right? To get ready for any other practices. And, you know, someday I'll do I'll do it more more slowly and just do the 4 purifications and meditation. Because it's really good to do the 4 purifications and then a couple of pranayams, maybe Ujjayi and then Shitali Siddhkari, or Brahmari and Shitali Siddhkari, or the Dirghas, Dirgha Rechak, Dirgha Purak, and then maybe just slide right into meditation, you know. So it's really good to do a little bit of pranayam practice after the 4 purifications, because it really purifies you and gets you ready for pranayam. And it's most of those are shot karmas, right? Kapalabhati is a shot karma. Agni Sardoti is a shot karma. Ashwini Mudra, I'm not so sure, but since Babaji said it was cleansing the toilet, like of the body, I think it's probably a shot karma. And then once you've done all that, then you're ready for our pranayam practice, right? And the pranayam practice is what really helps us to be ready for dharana, for that concentration. And the only thing I can teach is dharana. You know, I don't teach meditation. I teach concentration, and I hope you meditate. But that's all I can manage, is just teaching you, you know, like it's like pouring water when I'm teaching dharana. It's pouring water and it's splashing all over the place. Thoughts come, thoughts come, thoughts come. But when it's oil, when it turns into oil and it's just you and your object of concentration, it's just that smooth part, then it's meditation. And when you are the oil, then it's absorption or samadhi, right? So all I can teach is the concentration and hope that you have a wonderful meditative experience. Yeah. So nice. Yes, Maribad.
In Ashwini Mudra, I didn't know that you don't bring up your breath into the chest. You keep it low.
And let me tell you why I do that. Like, I didn't get a specific instruction from Babaji to bring it up, but when I bring it up, I was belching and burping and doing weird things in my upper. So I was reversing my apan, and it's not to reverse it. It's to bring it into where transformation is. It's to have the apan come to here, the pran go to here, and pran, saman, and apan are all there, and they push, go head up. Right? It's the purpose of it. So I found when I watch students, they took breath way too high, and they also were burping and belching and showing me in their practice and in their demeanor apana vitiation, apana, irregular apana, right? So once I had people like take the breath should come in, but it should be like yogic breath. Breath comes in. And then its focus is not up here. This is sympathetic. Its focus is right down there at the belly region where we want it to stay, where those 3 prans really can cook and help us transform. Did you notice a difference when you did it?
Yeah, yes, I did. You know, I could concentrate more on that pulling Ashwini Mudra than the breath, holding the breath.
And, you know, like, because Babaji would say, you know, that doing the practice is really what's going to show you what works and what doesn't. And so that's been one that I've played with over the years, you know, because I would just reverse apan. It was just obvious to me. After I studied Ayurveda and knew what reversing apan looked like, I knew that's what I've been doing for a long time. So once I could like bring in the full yogic breath, but just like when you're bringing in a full yogic breath for Sahit or any, tree bund, when you apply the locks, it goes down. It's not up here, it's right at that area of transformation. And that's where I hold it for Ashwini Mudra too. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
I have a quick question for purification. I typically do that in the morning. Is there any time during the day that we can you would recommend or not recommend to do the 4 purifications?
As long as you're 3 to 4 hours away from food. Yeah, if you've had food within 3 or 4 hours, it's no, definitely not. Yeah, but if you're 3 or 4 hours away from food, so yeah, but it's better to do in the morning on an empty tummy after evacuation, after you've had a bowel movement. That's the best time. That's the ideal time. And if you haven't had a bowel movement, sometimes that will stimulate your having a bowel movement right after, for those who are not so lucky to go every single day at the same hour before their practice. I've been in that group for a long time. Yeah. Okay, everyone, thank you so much. Thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate you. And you've got Jen on Thursday, so I can go to the Yoga Journal conference. You won't have Cam either, because he's there helping me at the yoga therapy booth that we have. And I'll see you next Tuesday. Okay, so have a great week, and I'll see you then. Okay.
Can I ask one quick question?
Sure, Amy.
When you do the 4 purifications as a series, I thought you kept your awareness with Ajna chakra. So when you're doing, but I've also very much felt what you're talking about with Ashwini Mudra, where if I have my awareness with Ajna chakra when I'm doing Ashwini Mudra as part of the series, I can about pass out. Like, it's just like, whoa. So I've played with it, I played with it a lot, but I just wondered if you could say more.
I think you just need to smooth it out a little bit more. Your breath's too big. You don't need that much. You're doing it with too much power. Smooth it all out a little. And when as you switch and you go from your breath, your exhale, it's really important that when you do your exhale, that it goes all the way out. And then when you bring your inhale, you bring it in and you press it down, and then you focus. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So
and I'll
try
play with it some more.
So try it, and then you tell me over the weekend. So for the next three or 4 days until the following, no, you'll see me on Tuesday next week. So do tell me, but for all these days, do it in a, so think about the whole reason of doing this kumbhak. The whole reason behind is to awaken Kundalini. And that doesn't start up in Ajna Chakra. It assumes that Ajna Chakra is you're cleansed all the way up. So while we're working on cleansing all the way up, you may need to focus a little bit at Mool when you're doing Apana. You may need to focus at Manipur when you're doing Agni Sardoti. You may need to focus at Anahat when you're doing Nadi Shodan. And you may need to focus at Vishuddha when you're doing Kapalabhati, because those are the 4 chakras that are all involved, right? And only when those other 3 are relatively clear is it easy to get and stay at Ajna without affecting everything else. So I'm going to also recommend that for the first, for the next day or 2, you just focus on each chakra as you engage that practice, because they all have a particular chakra that they do focus on. And that's Tantra. That's not just, that is Tantra. But if you can focus on that for a while, Ajna is also Tantra. So if you can just focus on that, each one at a time, and just then imagining that Sushumna has a clear path up. And you might, do the 4 purification, do them in a series 4 times. And each time just realize that you're focusing on the chakras. And then that 5th time, just see how it does to hold Agnya, you know, with the awareness that all the other ones are also being affected. Try
Thank you
it.
so much.
We're our best laboratory.
Okay.
Okay, everybody. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. It's been great. Nice to see you. Amber, how are you feeling? You doing good? Great. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, everybody. Take good care and I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you next week. Okay. Bye.